So I showed off a bunch of my handmade junk journals, and they're actually really, really simple to make, and I'm going to show you how. So hopefully everybody has got some bits and pieces. You can join along with me, or you can sit and wait and watch the YouTube afterwards, whichever's going to work best for you. So let's go, I suppose. Let's go. Right, so yesterday I posted a video saying all the bits and pieces that you would need. So we're going to need some sort of card for your cover. We're going to want something for the internals, page-wise. Could be paper, could be card, vellum. I'm going to try some tracing paper actually, because I think that might look kind of cool. And what I typically do, because my junk journals are monthly, I tend to just do enough pages for the month. So yeah, I'm just going to work that out. So I do A6 junk journals. So I use A5 sheets folded in half. So each sheet will give you 4 pages. So I've got 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 31. So that gives you 32. So how many pages is that? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 8 pages would do 32 pages. So it's up to you how you want to do it. Sometimes I do 7, which gives me 28 pages, because I might not do something every single day, but it's entirely up to you. This is about how you want to do it. So I'm going to pick a little bit of just plain white for the inside. I've got some weird fancy gridded paper, so we're going to have some of that. I'm going to try, let me get some tracing paper. And it doesn't have to be perfect, like all the edges don't have to add up. If you've got like a proper paper cutter, great. If not, it can be rough because you're going to cover everything up and stick it anyway. So I'm just going to fold this in half and I'm just going to tear it, honestly.
You said 8 pieces of paper.
Yeah, 8 pieces of A5 paper will give you 32 pages in the junk journal.
Yeah, so every piece of paper gives you
4 pages. Because
so you could do more or less.
You could do more or less. So I'll just show you. So for example, so this is standard A5. If we fold it in half, you've then got page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4. And obviously they'll be inside each other, so they won't be chronologically pages 1 to 4, but that's, you will get 4 pages in your junk journal from one piece of paper. So what have we got? So I'm going for a piece of plain, fancy gridded. I'm going to put some tracing paper, vellum. I guess it's probably all the same thing. I think I'm going to put some red card in there as well. So yeah, if you've got, some people have kind of paper cutters. They're great for this. But it doesn't have to be, it needs to be however you want it to be. So if you want it to be a little rough around the edges to give that vintage vibe, go ahead and just tear bits. I'm just being lazy. So I've just done the same. So that's 1, 2, 3. So I've got 4 bits there so far. So let's do another 4. So what else have I got? What kind of paper? Oh, I'm going to put some Tomo River paper in there for sure. Open my new pack, which comes luckily in A5 size. So I'm going to have some Tomo River paper in there just to give it a little bit more texture. And what else do I want? And I'm also going to try something different, which may open this up wide for everybody. So I got an order that came with this really cool paper bag, but paper bag is essentially paper. So I'm going to see if I can turn that also into a page.
Such a good idea.
I've been doing a lot of writing recently in mine, but
Yeah.
I write in other journals, so I want to try and concentrate on making it just receipts and bits that I pick up when I'm out and about and I'm away and things like that. So I'm just gonna roughly measure that, fold it in half over a piece of A5 paper to give me a crease.
Jazz, you can buy those packs of Tomo paper, like on the Zon or, like a number of places. I know Tea to the Moo has them. I think the Expressive Alley has them.
Yeah, so it's the Sakai Technical Paper Company Limited, and that's what it looks like. They come in loose leaf, they do like A6 pads. I've got A4 pads, they come in all kinds, and they're usually stocked all over the place. So that's what you're looking for. Sometimes they come in plain, sometimes they come in dot grid. I've got dot grid. I'm not sure about grid, but they also come in white and cream as well. So all the information will be on the front of that. Where's my scissors? So I think this journal, I'm going for a sensory effect, each page being slightly different texture. I think will look kind of cool. Do you know what? I've just had an idea. So I've cut off the bottom of the bag and it's sealed at the other end. So I'm actually going to fold that in half to make the A6, but then it's also going to have pockets inside.
Pockets.
Ta-da! See, you just have to play with things and see what comes up. I need to take a smidge off one end there because it's a little bit too long. And then I'm just going to stick some washi tape on the end of that to reseal it. Anyone will do. So yeah, so this is kind of, I think there's quite a lot of videos out there on like how to junk journal, and some of them are quite specific, like you should do it this way or you should do it that way. It does not matter. This is purely for you. This is how you want to do it. You might have your own style, you might be minimalist, you might want all the bright colours, and I task you to play around with different textures, different papers, different things. I've got, for example, that's a really lovely see-through rainbow dotted thing that could go in there. Lots of people get subscriptions, sticker subscriptions that have vellum in them, and I quite often see people saying, what do you do with the vellum? What do you do with the bits? For example, some of my Coffee Monster Co. special stuff have come in these cool bags, and I'm trying to work out how I can utilize them in a junk journal.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've got one.
It's fun to have all of the different bits and pieces. I've seen people make some of those larger paper doilies into pages.
Yes, yep, definitely. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more. What else can I do? What have we got? I'm going to try some of the MD paper that I got as well, which again, I just got a pad, so it's loose leaf. Just in case I want to do some fountain pen writing.
Jason says they're making now.
Oh, are they in the coffee shop now? They're making.
Yeah, they must be, yeah.
Isn't it fun? Right. Oh, I think there's 2 pieces there. Yeah. So yeah, you could also, if you are wanting to go for a more vintage look, tea staining is brilliant. So if you drink tea, go make yourself a cup of tea, and then with your tea bag, don't throw it away. Just tea stain the paper, and you can go just around the edges. I did so much tea staining as a child. So we've got one.
How do you do that? Like, do you just
literally just dab it onto the paper, and you could go over certain bits a couple of times and it'll go slightly darker. Leave it to dry and away you go. And if I think I've done it, I've done it on Tomo River paper before, and it still takes fountain pens afterwards. It's magical.
Nice.
I love it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm actually going to swap out the red for a blue because I'm thinking I'm liking this blue.
Yeah, the blue stripes stunning.
Blue stripes will go nice with the blue card. And that's the thing, is you can literally just wing it. There are no rules at all.
Oh, there you go. Extra coffee. You could do coffee rings.
Oh, okay. I've never tried coffee, but I've got a coffee machine now, so I get loads of coffee grounds. And if you don't, I know Starbucks, you can pick up free bags of coffee grounds. They give them away for your garden.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'm going to do 7 just because I've run out of ideas for other things to put in the middle. And I think I'm going to make my little pocket one in the middle. So the best way to do this is fold each piece individually. Don't just do them all together at one time because I find it doesn't work as well. So you just want to find your center and give it a really good crease line. If you have a bone folder, I think some people do, it's like a flat, just like scour it. You could scour it or with a ruler or something just to give it a good line in the middle. So I'm making that one the middle, and then I've got, how do I want to do this? Let's go for some plain next. So I'm just gonna, again, fold that up the middle, and I'm gonna wrap that. Center one is gonna go into there. Now it doesn't entirely add up, but it's okay. You can go and trim it at the end if you want to. And then,
Jenny, if you were to fold them all together, they're not all going to sit edge to edge, are they?
no, yeah, if you fold them all together, there's too much bulk in the spine, I find. Whereas if you individually fold them and really, really flatten that spine, then slot them in, yeah, they sit way more snug. So I'm going for gridded next, which I think will look kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that paper.
I can't remember where I got it from, but it is fountain pen friendly.
Nice.
And then I'm going to try vellum. And the beauty of this is the way it's done is all the pages will be slightly different as you go through the book.
Yeah.
So we do vellum next. So the vellum has created, if I just show you, so that's what the grid looks like before, and then so it's kind of just, you could leave it as that and just put it in as an extra, however you want to do it. And then let's go for some Tomo River paper next. Obviously, the thicker the paper is for the internals, the chunkier your journal will end up.
Yeah.
But it depends entirely what you want. What are you want?
Your monthly journals end up looking quite chunky
Yeah, where's it gone?
by the time they've been used and stuff.
So I think my biggest one is probably my December one. Is pretty chunky, and I also added on
Oh, you had a tip in there too.
tip-ins on front and back as well. So,
Wow. Yeah.
and then let's go for blue next. And again, some people like to round edges. It's entirely up to you whether you want to do that. I usually do, but I haven't been doing it on my junk journals just because quite a lot of the junk that I'm picking up, like receipts and things, don't have rounded edges, so they fit
Right,
really,
and then you
they
end up with
fit,
rounded.
yeah, then they fit really nicely just in the corners. So again, it's entirely up to you how you do it. And then we'll finish off with the MD paper. So yeah, the key is, and it makes a difference, it doesn't, you might not think it does, but it's getting that crease line really, really, really tight, which you can just do with a finger. You don't need any specialist tools or anything. So there we go. That's my paper insert. And make sure I've got the pocket at the top like that. And then I just need to pick a cover. So what have we got? We've got some mushrooms. Yeah, this is the 12 by 12. I don't know if you have them out in America, but definitely here at the range, you can go and buy really small ones up to 12 by 12 inches. Some of them have double-sided prints, like for example, this one is double-sided. So I think I'm going to pick the mushrooms because they're cute. And this doesn't matter so much. If you were picking a piece of card that was A5, you can just put it on as the cover. But if you have got something that you're going to use as a cover that's slightly bigger, it's worth just going slightly bigger than A5, just so everything can actually be covered by it and it's not sticking out tops and bottoms too much, just to give it a bit of protection. But again, it's entirely up to you. Yeah. So again, I'm just going to roughly measure. I usually take way more time doing this, but I'm just...
You do, Jazz. Now you have a reason to use that paper you bought.
Yes.
Jason, you said flattened. I'm assuming that's the paper, not you.
Paper is flattened.
Or Ryan, for that matter.
I'm just going to mark that with a pencil.
So how much extra are you measuring on those?
Literally millimeters.
Right.
Yeah. Not a lot, just enough. Because if you go too big, it will curl over the edges, right, and it'll get if it gets beaten up a bit. So I literally just a millimeter around one edge and one top edge. So it's kind of half a mil really when you actually cut it out.
Jason said he's available to come up if you want him to come up.
Oh, okay, cool, yeah. Come up.
So you might have to add him in.
So will it pop up somewhere, will it?
No, because I don't have a request button. So
oh, hang on. I see a little picture with a 1 next to it. There it is, accept.
There you go.
There we go. So I'm learning about how to do live at the same time. There we go. So yeah, so... Hello.
See, we're at a coffee shop making.
Love it. Love it.
Or is that Ryan? No, that might be Ryan.
Ryan isn't here yet.
Oh, that's Rob. Okay.
Okay, I'm already into this. This is super fun.
So I've done my cover, which just happens to be double-sided, which means it's pretty on the inside when you open it as well. But again, you could use plain and decorate the inside of each one if you wanted to. This is where your creativity can run free. If you're really good at brush lettering, then you could use a plain or maybe like a really nice craft card to go on the outside with a bit of black brush lettering. Would look really cool and vintage with tea stained edges and things like that. So that's my cover done. And then as I pop it in there, you can kind of see that nothing sticks out just because I've done that little extra at the top and bottom. This bit it doesn't matter so much, but if it really bothers you, you could run it through and just chop off those little extra bits. Or if you've got a sharp knife and a cutting board, again, you could do the same, lay it down and just so it all sits.
By the time you get your junk in there, though, it's not really.
It doesn't, yeah, and that's the thing.
Do you keep them individual, or do you put them all together? Your inserts.
Yeah, I haven't so far I've been keeping them individual, but I'm wanting to do a whole year's worth and see if there is some way that I can bind them at the end of the year.
So we take this sort of stack like this, and then we put it in here.
Yep, inside your
Have you
cover.
folded them? Did you see that Danny folded them so they're like a little book, Jay?
Yeah. So they're like this, right?
Yep, and then put it inside your cover.
Yep.
And then that is it basically done. The question is, how do you want to bind it? And I'm going to show you 2 different ways to bind it. So for anyone, so I want to do like a really, really basic one where you don't need any tools. And that's what the whole point of what I'm trying to do here is that you don't need any fancy tools to do this. You can pretty much do it with stuff. You could make this out of like envelopes that come through the door if you get a bunch of envelopes and things like that. So
Make it out of a brown supermarket bag.
exactly, yeah, that's the whole point.
So cool.
That would be really cool, yeah. That would be cool. I'm going to try and do that. I need to go on the hunt more for...
There's a question here. So can I add more than one set of 8 pages but not together?
So in separate booklets,
Signatures. So that what Danny's holding in her hand now would be
one signature, yes.
Yeah, and then the others would be like that.
Yeah.
And yes, you can, but then what you have to do is bind the edges together so that they become a book, if you like, with signatures, and then you can put a cover around the outside or repurpose an old hard-covered.
Yes. Actually, let me show you. I've got one. Bear with me a second. Because in theory, yes, you could do this as part of this process. Where is it?
Is the name for
Yes.
what Danny has just made.
So that's one signature. So I have got an old vintage book
Yes, look at that.
where I made 3 signatures.
Yes,
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah.
Oh, so they're not individual. So I tuck them into each other.
Yes, tuck them into each other. Yeah.
Them into each other. Yeah.
Oh,
So they're like a little book.
So yeah, so what I want to try and do is at the end of 2026, I'm going to have 12 of these in these signatures in varying thicknesses, and I want to try and work out how to leather bound them as one big junk journal book.
Be really cool.
So I will like,
The vintage, can you hold that vintage book up again? So just the spine on it where it's bound in. So you've bound each one in there individually. So the technique you're going to show us now.
you could use
could
to do
actually
this.
Do that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
But just through the cover as well.
yeah.
That is super cool.
So again, it also works for, I suppose, if you have inserts. Where are my inserts? So if you buy pre-made, for example, these are my little MD ones. These are stapled, but if you fill it up and it becomes something that you really, really want to keep, there's nothing that would stop you from stitching that into
Absolutely.
a cover. That's the beauty of this. So you don't necessarily have to, if you feel like I get enjoyment from making these, but you might not. So you might want to,
I think it's going to be fun for people to use the stash of paper they've
yes,
collecting.
Exactly.
Paper bags, supermarket brown bags, just
Envelopes, when you go away,
mats.
even just like letters that come through the post. Anything like that could be utilised rather than throwing it away or shredding it. If it's like, so I've got a receipt there for a stationery. So I'm wondering if I could make a stationery, all of my orders for 2026 could go into one journal. I don't know, something like that, yeah. So yeah,
Pens and pages you're about
Yes. I have an awl and all the stuff, but don't know how to do the stitch. Right, okay. So first things first, if you don't have an awl, needle and thread, and you're not interested in doing it that way, or you're not ready to do it, you can literally use string or a ribbon, and all you've got to do is tie it. So let's find an end. It's here somewhere. There we go. And all you need to do is find your center, lie it down, put your thread round the back to the middle and tie it. That's all you need to do.
Perfect. And I guess you could also staple it too, Deb.
You could, yeah, if you've got a way to staple it. I like to keep,
The long arms.
yeah, long arm stapler. I don't own one of those, so I would have to sit and punch the holes and then individually put the staples in. But I also like, again, the string and ribbon adds extra texture and things. So yes, the most basic way is just to tie a piece of string round all of it,
It's cute.
and then when you close it, it just sits there.
Yeah.
So
nice.
again, you could potentially utilize that to bind a whole bunch of them together.
Yeah.
So that's one way.
So you could actually then make a whole nother set of signatures.
Yeah,
Put it through the other edge of that
yeah,
string there.
you could.
Then you've got two signatures together.
Yeah. So that's the basic way to do it if you don't want to do any stitching.
Yeah.
I'm going to take that off for now. Next, we need to make sure we have our cutting mats to protect our desks. Now, I haven't helped myself here. I'm just going to swap that one round so that I can actually see the crease
Oh, yeah. With the pattern paper.
with the pattern paper. So one thing I did actually forget to tell you is you want some clips, but everybody has clips. I'm pretty sure they all have clips.
Yeah.
Just to hold
Close peg, if you don't
close pegs. Yep. What have we got here? There's one. So I just want to literally just to hold the pages together so nothing shifts when you're punching holes. What else have we got? There's another one there. And then, yeah, just so it's held top and bottom so that everything is held.
nice.
And then you want your awl, or you could use, dug out my old brass compass,
Oh, good idea.
teeny tiny screwdrivers, anything that you've got lying around the house that it doesn't have to be sharp.
Kitchen skewer would do it.
Yeah,
You know,
kitchen skewers, the bits that you put into your corn when you're barbecuing corn, things like that. And now this is up to you how you want to do it. You can measure so that each section of thread is exactly the same width. It's entirely up to you how you do it. I kind of just wing it, to be honest.
you know I'd be.
You're on I'm trying this new thing. Who was it that told me about it? Somebody in this community trying to be bad at new things to try and help with the perfectionism. So I'm trying to be less, trying to be less anal about things. So basically, there's no real rules or how to do this. You could just punch 2 holes and then put some string or thread through. Or if you really want to properly bind it, I'd say you probably want to go from like a centimetre or so from the top on each end. Let's get a little ruler. So on an A5 paper, which will become an A6 booklet, your halfway point is at 7.5 centimetres. So I'm just going to mark on my centre point there. So then if you wanted equally spaced symmetry, shall we say, on the binding, which is, that's the same colour as that, so that doesn't work. That's the same colour as well. I'm sure I've done something, there we go. So it's each section. So you just have to decide how many.
Just, I just.
Jason, do you want to just?
How many holes did you say? Are we loud?
No, it's fine.
You are quite loud.
So let's go for 5. 1 in the middle, and then 2 above the middle one and 2 below the middle one, equally spaced at 2 centimeters apart, ish. 2 centimeters, which is inches, is 3/4 of an inch. And to begin with, if you've never done this before, you could just use a pencil just to make your marks. You could go up to 2.5 centimeters, so a full inch if you wanted to.
So is that sharp enough to go all the way through now? So that's gone all the way through.
That hasn't gone all the way through, I just marked, but if I wanted to, my cutting board's underneath, and yeah, I can just...
Oh yeah, so now you're going to get a bit of...
And now it's gone through. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
So when some people do stitching, I guess some people use the needle to make the holes, but for this, it's better to make the holes with something that's going to make a perfect hole, because the needle could actually just tear it, and it would probably, because the thread can sometimes be wider than what the needle will be.
Yeah.
So it's better just to make your holes first, and then it makes the whole process much simpler.
Yeah.
That goes through there. And there are, I'll let you know as well, I have a 3D printed contraption here where you take out this section, you put your book inside there, put it in, and it gives you the hole spacing, and then you just punch through. So that's how I would do it, but I'm trying to show, yeah. So honestly, have a look at anywhere that does any sort of 3D printed stuff. Yeah.
What do you call that, Danny? What would you call that?
I guess it's a book binding jig, possibly. I'll have a look, and if I find something, I will make a post about it, like where to find them. And that's just made by some local group here that does book binding and things. So I've got my 5 holes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you wanted to, you could go all the way up to the edge, but let's make it easier. We've got 5. And then you just need needle and thread, which I did put somewhere. There we go. Ali, does your room look like an absolute bombs hit it after lives?
Absolutely. I have stuff everywhere.
Love it.
Absolutely.
So my outside is like creamy and mushroomy. So if you have different threads, you can customize, you can go bright, you can do anything you want. What colour am I going to go for? I've got this lovely green, which I think will look nice with some of the mushrooms. And then...
Nice needle keeper.
That's my little voodoo needle keeper, yeah. I use leather saddler's needles because they're not sharp.
Right.
So if you've never done this before, it's good to get blunt needles because
Tapestry needle would do it?
yeah, tapestry needle.
Darning needle?
Yeah,
something
it doesn't need to be sharp, and that's the whole point of doing the holes first, so that you don't inadvertently go straight through, because some fine needles will go straight through a cutting mat as well.
Yeah.
So
And of course, you don't want to bleed on your journal.
exactly. Although that, yeah, blood, sweat and tears actually went into the making of this journal.
Right.
And then I can't remember how much I use. I think I just double it. Double the height, plus a little bit extra.
For good measure.
For good measure. And you don't need to know any fancy tying off processes or anything. Just thread your needle and leave a tail, little tail that you can hold on to. And tie a knot in the other end so that it won't go through the hole. Actually, no, you don't. I'm lying. Don't tie a knot. Just leave it as it is. Only a little bit.
It is a little bit.
Okay, I won't keep it on long. But so I just sewed it. I sewed the center just with what I had. And look at how cool this looks. Like, it's really...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really cool.
It is.
I just wanted to do like a test one. This is so much fun.
Yeah. And it will last longer as well. Staples will potentially, essentially patina and could rust. So that's why I like thread, because it's not going to get rusty depending on what you're using.
Rob did it too.
Awesome.
That is fantastic.
So, find your top. So
I did it with like a really thin thread, and it'd be fun to do with maybe a cord or like a little bit
yeah,
bigger.
Even if you did really big holes, you could use like ribbon or leather lace or
Embroidery threads, something like that.
embroidery threads. I'm using leather threads for leather, and they're nice and strong, and they're made of linen. So we're going to find the first hole at the top. We're going to go from the inside to the outside first, pull it through, and then just leave a little tail there, which we're going to tie off at the end. And then your needle is on essentially the outside. So the next hole down, we're going to go from the outside to the inside and just pull it through like so. Then we're going to basically continue it down from the inside going out on the next hole down. And then turn it over from the outside going in on the next hole down. And then finally going inside out. This light makes it really hard to show. There we go. Inside out.
No, it's good to see because you've used a different coloured thread.
Yeah.
It's quite easy to see.
So then you've got kind of 2.5 on a 5 hole. And then we're at the back right now on the outside bit. And then we're just going to go the opposite way. So this is why you want your hole to be slightly bigger than your needle, so that it's much easier to go through. So we're going to go up.
So essentially you're going through it twice.
Through it twice, yep. So we're going to go up to hole 4 from the outside coming in, and then going...
It's like a double enforced...
It's like a running stitch. Yeah, it creates...
One from the front and one from the inside.
Yeah. And then just continue back through, and then through to the outside. And then the last one, you're just going to go back through so that both ends end up on the inside.
Yeah.
And we want them to end up on the inside just from a handling point of view. If they're on the outside and you handle them too much, it will wear them down. Whereas once you've used that inside page, it's not really going to be affected.
Yeah.
So then all you want to do is tie basic knot, and then I just kind of spin it to hold it in place, and then tie your knot off, and that's it. That is you learning how to make your own.
This is incredible.
And that's it. And then just...
That was really cool. So the amount of thread that you did was you measured twice the block height.
Yeah, and I had a little bit left over.
A little bit for handling the knot.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can take your clips off, fold it in half, and you've got yourself a beautifully bound. Obviously, if you wanted to, you could do an extra 2 holes so that it goes all the way from the edge, but I just wanted to show you quite quickly there. And then that's stitch bound, and you've made yourself a book, guys. You've made yourself a mini book.
If you think that signature into the cover.
You would, yes. So where did I put it?
So you would get your loose bits and then bind it into the cover as you
At the same time. So what I would do is I would find, say I was going to add it in to this section here.
Yeah.
I would clip it in there, then
as that-
punch my holes through so that they go all the way through, and then stitch it in that way.
That is genius.
So maybe at some point,
Doing a number of signatures, would you start in the middle of if you were doing a
Yeah.
recycled hard book?
yeah, that's what I did with this one. I started in the middle. I actually punched all my holes first,
Yeah.
so that everything was equally spaced apart.
Yeah.
And then I started in the middle.
Please? Yeah. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Interesting. Thank you.
Show
That's
again how to
so
tie off the
interesting.
So tying off the end, basically, like loop your thread as if you were tying a bow sort of thing. And then if you just twist it round 90 degrees, it will hold it in place while you tie a knot. Yeah. And then that's it. And
Thanks, Jenny.
you're
Thanks
done.
for answering LA's question. Yeah, that is genius. So now, essentially, that book, that signature becomes your journal
For a month.
the next month.
Yeah.
I
Hi.
love it. It is so good.
And so this is just the bog standard. I love that crinkle. It's a really nice crinkle. And that way, by doing it that way, I've now got 2 pockets built in. And again, you can really just get creative and stick whole pages of things in that become other pages, and tip-ins and postcards, and a bit of washi works brilliantly. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's potentially 6 pages there, but just using only 2 pages that are actually bound into the book. So it's, and you did, washi, tape, and extra bits of random stuff.
Yeah.
And then you just,
That's,
whatever you pick up,
everybody's like, this is genius. So happy. Such a lovely little book.
love it. Awesome. I'm so glad. So so then you do what you want with it.
Yeah, and of course you can make it any size you want. You can.
Yep.
The world's your oyster.
Exactly. I like A6 because I've got very small handwriting, and I'm at A6 for most things at the minute. But if you prefer bigger space, you could do the whole exact project starting with an A4 piece of paper, folding it in to make A5. And then if you wanted to go A4 size, you would need to get A3 paper, fold it in half. That becomes an A4 journal.
I know, right, Gigi? That was just genius. Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
has anybody got any questions or anything they want to see? How do you switch together multiple signatures? I think that's for another day. Yeah, definitely. And also obviously I've learnt from professional bookbinders, so I want to try and make it so that I can show everybody without the need for any very specific tools. So leave that one with me and I will work out how to do that. And then maybe next month we will do let's make maybe 3 signatures and into something.
Yeah, and I love that. Like it's just opened up a whole world of possibilities for using all of those
Exactly.
treasures that you've been saving. The packages, you go buy something special in a shop and the bag is really cool. Now you know what you can do with the bag. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think also, just from seeing it, you'll now see when you're out and about, or you go stationery shopping, or you're just out and about anywhere, you'll see things and be like, ooh, that would be really good for a junk journal. And it just makes you think there is, it opens up a world of fun and games. And I haven't tried paper bags before, but do you know what? It's as thick as some of the other stuff that I've put in here.
Yeah.
And I'm probably...
Your haul that had that paper bag in it, and I heard the crinkle at the time, and I'm like, what lovely.
Yes, I just love that. And then also, if there was something that you wanted to put in your junk journal that was maybe a bit chunkier, that you didn't want to cut up, you could then put it inside and maybe put a little tab saying "Open me," and then you slide it out. And have I got anything that's about the right size? So this is almost A6. Is that going to work?
I agree, Jackie. Jackie says really enjoyed watching, such a lovely thing to do on a Friday.
Yeah, so then you can
Look at
just,
that. That's genius, that little pocket.
just a little pot, yeah. And you can, yeah, this is when I hand it over to you now, and you get creative with how you want to, what you want to do with these. These don't have to be, technically they don't even have to be junk journals, but I'm calling it a junk journal because the idea is to try and make them full of stuff that you already have. So I'm not saying don't place your order for the usual paper that you would use on a day-to-day basis, but I'm saying don't go out and buy things specifically to make a junk journal. Literally, whatever you've got to hand, that's what makes. Yeah.
Genius. Absolutely.
This is dangerous for me.
I know, right? So Ali's saying, I love how easy it is. And she's just made 2 in like 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I bashed out a whole year's worth in one evening, but I really enjoyed the time that I spent just kind of laying out different cards and pieces of paper and how I want, and for me, I enjoyed that bit of the process. So some people might not like that. Some people might just want to bash them out, don't really care, but you can really have some fun. And even if you,
I think it would be fun to collect all the bits and
all the,
play around.
yeah, definitely. And trying different surfaces, and again, I quite like the vellum bit, and the idea is you're probably going to predominantly stick things in. That's what I do. So I've been away for a couple of days and I have collected a whole bunch of stuff in here that's going to go in. I've got some stickers, I've got some pet tape, bits and pieces. I've got labels from orders. I've got my MD paper, and I think that's quite a cool image, just to cut out that bit and stick that, and then you could write on it as well and use it as notes. Oh yeah, I've got all kinds. I was at a disability event and they had some stickers, so I grabbed the stickers and then I'll stick them in. Yeah, so yeah, and tickets are great. Badges from events you've gone to, tickets, receipts, all kinds of things like that. And it makes a really nice something to look back on in however long, and then potentially we can bind them into one giant junk journal.
With everything you collected when you were travelling on a trip, and make the journal out of all the packaging, and that would just be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm also thinking, I've been banging on about an onion skin journal. I could actually make my own, use it as a swatch book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think obviously I'm not trying to say at all that any companies that make beautiful notebooks that we all love, I'm not saying don't buy them, don't continue buying them, because we love them for a reason, but also it's not that difficult to make your own. So sometimes, over here, I'm guessing it's the same around the world. Money is tight. Everybody is suffering with energy prices and all of these things. And you might really, really have a great idea for something that you want to start journaling in, or do junk journaling or doing anything, but you just can't afford that £20-30 notebook. But you could totally make your own. And these would make really nice gifts as well.
Absolutely they would. How fun.
And memory keeping and
really fun, and in sending off in your snail mail as well.
definitely. And yeah, because they would definitely nice and compact. Or if you went on a trip, that could literally just be a journal from a 2 or 3 day trip where you've taken photos. You might want to journal a little bit. It's really the world is your oyster. You can do whatever you want with these.
Yeah, amazing. Danny, you have been incredible. Now, everybody in the chat, I just want you to know, so Danny had, and she alluded to it there, she's been off to a disability conference for the last couple of days, and Danny has got together a GoFundMe because she is raising money to get some equipment to help her with her disability and help her be mobile. So if you have really enjoyed today's session, and I think it's fair to say the majority of us have, can I please encourage you to go up into her bio and throw a couple of dollars at her GoFundMe. Every little bit helps. And, you know, we're a community that likes to help each other and cheer each other on. So it would be so grateful, or we would all be so grateful if you could help Danny with that. Danny, you're an absolute champion, my friend.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Even just,
I can't wait to see. If anybody makes them and posts them, can you please
yeah.
tag Danny? Please tag her so she can share, and then we can all see them as well.
Yeah, let's do like a little round robin and show me what you've made, and we'll, yeah.
Yeah, that
Excellent.
sounds really cool.
Fantastic.
Really cool.
Well, thank you very much, everybody, for joining. This has been amazing. I love it.
Thanks, Danny.
And
Thank you. And I hope I didn't embarrass you by giving you that little shout out, but I just, you know, it was amazing.
And I will get the up, over, down recorded, putting on YouTube. So send me a DM if you want the YouTube link. And if you've got any questions that it's not been able to easily ask, just send me a message and I will get back to you.
Right. Jason, did you want to say anything just to round it out?
Just thank you so much, and let's do this again. Like, come up with another one of the amazing crafts you have, because I would totally do it again.
I know, you're such a great teacher, Danny. You really have such a great way of articulating instructions.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
We are all huge fans. Make sure if you haven't, you followed Analog Danny, and we will tag you in all our pictures.
Fantastic. Thank
Look forward
you.
to it. Thank you for organising this session, Jason. Appreciate it a lot.
Awesome.
All right.
And everybody have a fantastic rest of your Friday and weekend.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bye,
Have
everybody.
a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
Bye.